I change your bum life. You fight me, it's a
Of course
celebration.
you can. I would beat you.
When you sign to fight me, it's a celebration. You ring back home, you ring your wife. Baby, we done it. We're rich, baby. Conor McGregor made us rich. Break out the red panties.
Yo, welcome back to the fifth round. As always, your boy Stephen Moustaris. And guys, let's get right into it. It's Wednesday now. I just got home from the gym. I'm still kind of buzzing over UFC 281. I've posted, all the videos I needed to of that. If you guys want to check them out, go to the page, check them if you guys want. But, now I'm fast forwarding to this Saturday. And you know what? I'm starting to get a little depressed, if I'm being honest with you guys. And the only reason I am is because I just feel like I get it, these fight nights and everything, they're nice for me, the average, the diehard fans, I should say, not the average fan, but the diehard fans out there that just love watching fights regardless. Like, it's a nice little weekend of fight nights. Like, there's never that big of names on there, but I personally like it because, you got these guys that are going to make a name for themselves. You got to make a name somehow, and it's usually these fight nights. And, not many household names, like I said, but there's a lot of exciting fights because these guys bring it. So I personally like watching them, but I just feel bad for whoever's usually the headliner because, and especially in this case, Derrick Lewis is fighting this weekend. Probably, if not a top 10 fan favorite, he's top 15 fan favorite of any fighter. So it's like, man, it's just heartbreaking for me because he's fighting another up-and-comer, Serghei Spivac, who is an absolute dog, 10 years younger than him. Derrick Lewis is 37. Serghei's 27. He's only lost like once in the UFC. I think he lost I think he got caught by Walt Harris. I think when Walt Harris's daughter had died or whatever, like comeback fight for him. I think he knocked him out, but he also lost to Tom Aspinall. But who doesn't? But like still, these guys are up and coming killers. And then you got Derrick Lewis, who's been in the fucking UFC since 2014. Like, he's done so much for the organization. Like, seriously, like, I think his first fight in the UFC was Matt Mitrione. I think one of his next fights in the UFC was Roy fucking Nelson. And then, like, he went on a rampage. I think he fought Sean Jordan, Mark Hunt, Daniel Cormier, Junior Dos Santos, Ciryl Gane, Francis Ngannou. And I know the Francis fight was the most boring fight in UFC history, but he still fought him. And the stressing of going through that monster. Shit's still scary. Tai Tuivasa, he lost to in a really good fight. Just like I said, Serghei Pavlovich. I said Roy Nelson already. Travis Brown knockout. The Alexander Volkov comeback where he's getting his ass beat for 5 rounds and beats the shit out of him in that last little minute. Alexei Oleinik, Ilir Latifi, if that counts. Like Curtis Blades knockout. Like, the dude has fought everybody. And then, it seems like every time that he does get to that big step like the DC or the Ciryl Gane, it's sadly he kind of falls short, and I think the UFC knows that, and I think that Ciryl Gane fight was probably his last chance of the title. And now I'm sitting here kind of wondering, like, what's going to happen next, because every time he loses like that big fight, I'm always sitting there like kind of nervous for him because he'll take one of these fights. Like, I think he fought like Blagoy Ivanov like a couple years ago, and I was like, ooh, Blagoy's coming up pretty sick. And then Chris Daukaus fight just this last year, where Chris Daukaus is coming up crazy, and then the Serghei Pavlovich. But before the Pavlovich fight, it's he beats the Blagoy, he beats the Chris Daukaus, he beats these guys the Ilir Latifis, the Alexei Oleinik, these guys that he gets thrown into after the big losses, and he always comes and brings it. And then that's why it was a little upsetting. I don't hold the Tai Tuivasa fight against him. They were both rocking each other. He just got caught with that vicious elbow or forearm, and then. The Serghei Pavlovich, I was like real nervous because, like I said, Serghei's a fucking monster, and he comes out and just gets finished in the first round. But this is the danger when it comes to these heavyweights, man. Like, and that's why I feel like there's a plus side to this, I guess, for him being on this fight night. That means the UFC has a pretty good understanding that he's probably going to fight one more time, because there's no way they're going to have his last fight be on a fight night, and especially like such a quiet card like this. And man, it's just sad because they're just feeding him these wolves, and I'm sure it's actually probably a lot on Derrick Lewis is doing. Like, I'm sure he still thinks he has it, which he does, especially in the heavyweight division. You have it, but like I said, I named off like 20 people that he's fought that are just absolute monsters, and a lot of those fights, half of them I think he lost in really close fights, and he got, he as much damage as he deals out, he gets hit too. So it's starting to get up there. He's 37, like I said, about to be 38. And it's still young in life, but in MMA years, especially how long he's been around, and the dog fights he's been in. It's been a long time, and it's starting to get sad that he's another name added to the list. It's starting to get long in the tooth, and it's you only got a couple more fights with these guys, like a year or two left with some of these guys, and it's starting to get depressing a little bit. So I am a little upset with the UFC right now, even though I can't be, because I'm sure they're paying Derrick Lewis good enough, but like still, like he deserves. Could you guys imagine if he was on that last UFC 281 card? Like if Frankie Edgar had already retired, or even if they took off the or like put Dan Hooker and playlist on the prelim main event, and then put a Derrick Lewis fight. Like that's what Derrick Lewis deserves. He deserves that shit. But I get it. You can't bitch. He's getting paid still. He is fighting a dog, and it's just I'm just sitting here kind of wondering, well, how much more does he have left in the tank? Like what is even next for Derrick Lewis? Because like my opinion, and I know this might be rude, like outside of knocking out Spivac this weekend, and then maybe getting another big fight, like who I'm trying to think, like say he gets the Pavlovich fight or something, because I know Pavlovich is actually fighting literally in 2 weeks, like 2 days before my birthday on the 3rd of December. He's fighting Tai Tuivasa as well, so that's a really big fight. But I'm just saying, like he's out. He's like, there is a possibility Derrick Lewis can go on a 3-fight win streak with first round knockouts, one big punch, and he gets one more title shot. Maybe wins off a huge punch, but I'm just saying the chances are very unlikely. And I think we only have a couple more fights with Lewis, especially if he loses this week. So it's like, what else is there? He's already made his money. Hopefully he's smart with it. He seems very smart with it. It's like, what else can you do? You've already shown everything for us. You have the most knockouts in UFC heavyweight history, and hit UFC history. And it's like, I don't know, man. I just don't want to see him like that Frankie Edgar loss we just saw over the weekend was very depressing. Like we see these all the time. BJ Penn's loss, like you see these losses. I talk about it all the fucking time. I could go on forever and ever and ever about these guys that just hang around too long, and we start seeing them go out. So it's like, I don't want to see that out of Derrick Lewis. We've kind of already seen it enough. We've seen him get knocked out enough. Like the JDS knockout was kind of disgusting. The Mark Hunt knockout, the Tai Tuivasa knockout, his last one against Pavlovich. Even though some people say it was kind of early, still those heavyweight boys can knock each other. He's just been in some fucking monster fights, and I don't know. I'm just excited to see it. I hope Derrick Lewis can pull it out this weekend. Spivac is no fucking joke, though. The dude is no joke, so don't be sleeping on him. And yeah, I don't know, because it's just depressing, because I think we only have like 5 pretty big names, like Andre Fiallo's on this fight card. Not Sean Jordan. I already said Sean Jordan for that, but the Ian Kutalabe's on there. Jennifer Maya's on the early prelims. Ricky Turquoise or whoever the guy who won the Ultimate Fighter like 28 something just this last year. I think Chase Sherman's fighting an undefeated fighter. Like you have these you have the names, but they're not like the biggest household names. So you just kind of feel bad for him. But seriously, I don't know what you guys are thinking. Clearly, I'm always a Derrick Lewis hype beast. Like I'm on the train. I love seeing the finishes. I really just don't know how much more he has left. And if he loses this fight, I'm not mad if we only see one more fight or something. Just like I don't want to see him in his hometown. We've seen him in his hometown. Dude does not fight well in his hometown. Too much pressure and shit. So I'd like to see one more Vegas card, one more big card of him on there, like UFC like 285 or something. Or, I could see something like that. So it sucks. I don't even want to say it, but I don't know. This is a really tough fight for him this weekend, and I just want to know what you guys got and thinking. So this could be it. This could be the Derrick Lewis train, and I absolutely love the dude, but I am getting nervous for him. Well, not, but it's been the UFC. It's been the 5th round. Stephen Moustaris as always. Let's go.